What's up, YouTube? Me again. So we are going to do a Conjuring spoiler-free movie review. And I'm going to start off to say that I'm glad this is going to be the last one. Um, the movies aren't hidden like they used to. Nothing has surpassed Conjuring 1 and 2. Not number 3 or number 4, which was Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, and The Conjuring 4, this one, The Last Rites. But let's get into it, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts. So, on that being said, I think in the beginning, the first 5 minutes, they are setting you up to know where this movie is going to be headed, the direction of the movie. I'm not wanting to give you too much, but you could definitely tell, okay, they're about to start giving us this setup, with Lorraine and Ed and their daughter. So you already know where it's going to be headed. And when they give us, break off from Lorraine and Ed, and they give us the new family that's going to be hunted, you already know what they're doing. They're setting that up to show us what's going to be happening. And then it goes back to the first 5 minutes. Something in the first 5 minutes with Ed and Lorraine has came up with this new family, and it starts off very fast as far as stuff happening to this family. They're a big family, they're a family of 8 living in this house, and it's giving you that feeling of Conjuring 1 and Conjuring 2, how both movies had a family that's being hunted, grade of 4 or 5 and more. So it is, I don't want to say it's a callback, because it's not a callback, because these are supposed to be allegedly true events that happen. So a family of 8, yes, they are a big family. And it kind of reminded me of the older, old school's family, how, you have a whole bunch of people living together, down from the grandma, now the mom and dad, and then now their kids. So they could have built something off that. I honestly believe that they didn't build too much on the family. There was not enough investing into this family. Forgive me, y'all, I don't even remember their names. That's it. The investment that you have with this family wasn't enough for you to even care about them. That threw me completely off. We had a Ed, Lorraine, and their daughter investment as far as spending time with them. And it was wait, so is this their movie because it's the last one? Or are we going to focus on this new family that's being hunted? It really didn't even give us a time to invest into them, which was kind of a letdown. And what I do want to say is, as far as, let's just example, things are hereditary. I'm going to just say that. Whatever Lorraine has, it was passed on because the daughter has it too. Whether you call it a gift or a curse, however you view it, things are hereditary, and that goes down to anybody family. If both of y'all have, let's just say diabetes, that might get passed on to your kids. So that's something to think about. I expect them to understand and know that as well, as far as Ed and Lorraine of having a daughter. I'm pretty sure they knew that that gift will get passed on to their daughter, and it did. This kind of gave us a story. Remember when I said that it invested more into Lorraine and Ed and the daughter too? We have spent a good significant time with her, and then it goes back to her having a boyfriend, and then Ed is doing some older dad shotgun wedding type of thing. He's more of are you good enough for my daughter? So that stuff started to happen, and they brought back some old characters in specific scenes. I would say in the first act for a brief moment. And if you know who they are, you go, oh yeah. I don't want to say which characters they are, but if you've been watching, you've been following, you know who they are. They were a good part of Conjuring 1 and 2. I do also want to say that when it comes to Survivor, survival horror movies or whatever the case is, if you wearing glasses and you solely rely on your glasses to see, yeah, you're screwed. I'm sorry, like you're screwed. If you're sleeping and you go, all right, I'm up and then I need to find my glasses to see what's going on. Yeah, you're screwed because at that moment everything is already happening. This happened in other movies. It goes back to the Mummy. If the Mummy movie that came out in 1999, the guy lost his glasses and they stepped on him and he couldn't find his glasses. Like, yeah, if you have vision problems like that, you're done. I'm sorry, it sounds messed up, but you're done for. Oh shoot! So, what they did was the investment of the family wasn't great enough. They kept going back and forth between Lorraine, Ed, and the daughter, and to the family of 8, and it would just bounce back and forth, and you would just spend like in 30, let's just say 25, 30 minutes in the movie, you'll spend about 3 to 5 minutes with the family, and then you'll be back with Lorraine, Ed, and the daughter for like 20, 25 minutes. And I didn't like that. That wasn't a good take to me. I understand this is the last movie. This is the last time we're going to see Ed and Lorraine. But it's a horror movie. You were supposed to give us that Conjuring 1 and 2 type of feeling, and it wasn't. I'm telling you. The stuff, it didn't really take place to the last act. There's, it's like 3 acts in this movie. And when I say last act, the last 20, 25 minutes is when you start getting, all right, we're going into straight horror, doing what we do type of stuff, And I didn't really like that. I really wanted us to be invested into this new family so we can know who they are, start building up a careness for them, which you are not going to build it up. It's really like you're only spending time with Ed and Lorraine and the daughter, so, I don't even remember the family's names. That's kind of sad. Is it scary? Not really. It wasn't really scary. It gave you a little chills up your spine from time to time, but it wasn't scary enough that you jumping out your seat, you covering your eyes like what Paranormal Activity did or The Conjuring 1 and 2. These horror, like I said, movies aren't hitting the same, and this horror movie did not hit. It was better than The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Definitely better than that one. I could say that, so that's a good positive thing. It is a slow burn movie. It is a slow burn. And towards the end of the movie, you're going to see all the OGs come back. And you'll see them. Like, if they're going to let you see them, and you're like, oh, shoot, yes. You're going to see all the OGs come back. I'm not going to tell you how it happens, but it's a sweet moment, It's a sweet moment. And, when, not just 8 family members, but they also had an animal. And I'm telling you, animals sense everything. Like, they know when stuff is going bad. They sense everything. Like, I have a dog. When the weather's turning and it's getting bad, he lets me know. Because he started acting scared. Like a little kid started acting scared, and we got to put his little comfy jacket to keep him, from being scared. But, other than that, I will say save your money. This is already the last one. Save your money. Wait for it to come out on streaming. It is not worth to go see in theaters. And that's unfortunate. The first 2 were really good. They set a standard for new horror movies, and this one didn't set a standard. Like, it was a 4 out of 5, excuse me, I apologize, a 4 or a 5 out of 10, which was not good enough, and that's unfortunate. The Conjuring, they built up a universe, like, built up Annabelle, they built up the Nun. Like, these are, like, a very strong cult following, and they disappointed with the last 2 movies, which is okay. It is what it is, but I recommend wait for streaming. Save your money, and let me down in the comments what's your favorite Conjuring movie. 1, 2, 3, or 4, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one.